Hey, welcome to the live stream today. So I am live. And if you have any questions during this live stream, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Alternatively, if you have questions and you're like, I don't feel comfortable sharing that, then send me a message, whatever platform you might be watching me on right now, because I'm streaming to a bunch of different places. Feel free to just send me a message, even if you're watching the replay. Just let me know. Say, hey, I was watching your supplement crash course for weight loss, and I have this question. And I'll be sure to reach out to you. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can during this live stream. And whatever questions I can't get to, or if it's too long of an explanation, right, too involved, or maybe it just is too personalized to you, then I'll be sure to reach out privately to you and follow up and ask some more questions and make sure you get your question answered. So if you're watching me right now, I'd love for you to put in the chat where in this whole wide world you are watching me from and what platform. Even if you're in the replay, I love to know, where people are at and where they're catching me live from. And I haven't gone live in a minute. It's been a while since I've gone live, but I love making videos like this. I love sharing information, and I kind of got this idea because I know with the new year, everybody is very supplement, the supplements are all on sale, right? Buy one, get one free, and all these specials everywhere about supplements. And I know people are jumping into supplements. And over the summer, this past summer, I actually hosted a health coaching group over the summer. And one of the kind of common themes that came up throughout the whole couple weeks that we were together with the ladies was about supplements. And so I'm going to go over some of the common questions that we had about supplements and kind of give you some things to look out for. And I really want you to stay to the end of the live stream, because towards the end, I'm going to cover a hidden ingredient in so many supplements that most people don't even realize, that could be really hindering your efforts, stall, plateau, especially when it comes to your weight. And if you're somebody who is insulin resistant, has metabolic syndrome, has some other hormonal issues going on, this one ingredient could be kind of the cause of your problems. Or if you're taking all your supplements and you're working out and you're doing all the things that you should be doing, but you're not really getting the results that you want, this one hidden thing could be the problem. So again, if you're tuning in right now, please let me know where in this whole world you are joining us from. Say hello, because I want to say hello to you. I am live. Like I said, I don't go live like this too often now, but today's going to be a really great episode. And if you like it, feel free to share it with somebody also. So the first thing that I want you to think about when you start taking supplements is go slow. Try one thing at a time. And so this was actually one of the things that came up in the group coaching that we had was, people buying the powders, the superfood powders and the protein powders and the vegetable powders and the red powder and the this and the that. And they're mixing all this stuff together. And it usually comes when people are wanting to do like smoothies or something like that. And they're just putting all these ingredients together in a blender, mixing it up. And then they're also taking different, supplements, different pills also. But then they start to get gassy, they start to get bloated, maybe they're getting diarrhea, they're just not feeling very well, things aren't settling in their stomach very well. And it simply is because you're trying to just do too much at one time. So go slow. I know you're excited and it's amazing that you're wanting to do so much for your health, but slow down, one thing at a time. Try the one powder first for a couple days, right? Then try the next thing. And I would even caution against adding so many things into one into one drink or one smoothie, or taking so many things at once. It's just, it can be harder on some people's tummies than others. So just go slow. If you buy something new and you're excited about it and you've never taken it before, just try that one thing. Because if you start having a lot of discomfort and issues after you've kind of taken this little drink that you've mixed up, you don't know what is the offending culprit, right? You don't know what is the cause of the issue. So you don't know how to fix it. And then that can turn a lot of people off, right? Because a lot of those supplements, right, they come in pretty big bags, and they're a little bit of an investment for some of those things, depending on the quality and how much you're getting of it. And then you maybe try it once or twice and it doesn't sit right with you for whatever reason, and then you're just out. You just have wasted that whole thing, right? So just go slow. Try one thing at a time. Make sure it agrees with your body first, and then go ahead and add the next thing, and then add the next thing. And I would seriously wait a couple of days in between adding things, just to make sure that you're doing okay with it and that's not upsetting you, because again, you could have a sensitivity to it, you could have an allergy to it, you never know, and then you're just mixing all this shit up and you don't know what is causing the problem. So that's the first thing that you should know about taking supplements. Go slow. Don't try to do too many things at once. Go slow. The second is, when should I be taking supplements? When should I be taking my supplements? That's another super common question that I get asked. And there's a couple different things that you want to think about when it comes to that. I'm going to use fiber as an example right now. So psyllium husk fiber is one of the things that I always recommend for my ladies to take, especially when it comes to weight loss. And just even overall health. I mean, we all need more fiber. Okay. You got to keep things moving and grooving up in there. You don't want to be bloated. You want to be regular. Like, it just helps with so much. Okay. But when it comes to fiber, you really have to know when you can take it, especially if you're taking other medications. So when you think about the purpose of psyllium husk fiber, it's in your body to help draw toxins out of your body and suck everything into your colon, so that way you can poop it out, right? You can get rid of it out of your body. But what happens is some people do not understand like that whole concept of it, and they might take it with their regular medication. So this is one pill, this is one supplement that you want to take by itself, separate from any medications that you might take. Because if you pop that blood pressure pill right with a fiber pill, as it works its way through your digestive system, that fiber pill is going to suck up all the medication in that blood pressure pill, and it's not going to do anything for you. Very similar to what I see a lot of people talk about charcoal and taking charcoal powder. Make this charcoal, lavender lemonade and all this stuff. And while it looks good, you have to be really careful, because charcoal does the same thing. We give charcoal when people overdose on medications to get all the toxins out of their body. Well, if you're drinking a bunch of charcoal drinks or teas or lemonades along with your prescribed medications, you're not getting any of those medications, and you could be in for a lot of trouble depending on what those medications are. God forbid it's a seizure medication or a blood pressure medication, or if it's some type of like Alzheimer's dementia medication. Like, I don't know what people are taking out there, but I'm just letting you know that that could be a red flag right there that you need to really watch out for. So fiber is a big one. Don't take it with any other medications. Take it by itself. Charcoal is another one. Take it by itself. 2 hours. You need to wait 2 hours before or after. And I like psyllium husk fiber capsules because they're easy to take and they do not upset your stomach at all. So a lot of times I'll take my psyllium husk fiber first thing in the morning when I wake up on an empty stomach with water, and it's super easy because I'm still fasting, so I can just take it and I'm fine. Sometimes I'll take it before bed because I don't have any nighttime. I don't take any medications anymore, but that used to not be the case. I used to be on a lot of meds, but now I don't. I'm not on any, so I can take my psyllium husk at night. Again, 2 hours away from any of these medications. Hey, Garen, I see you, honey. How are you? Happy New Year. I'm talking about supplements, so if you got any questions, honey, you let me know. And actually, Garen, if you follow him on LinkedIn, he's on TikTok also. He talks a lot about hair. And I know he's for the fellas and talks a lot about the hair, but, I was watching him for my husband too. He has some really great content out there, some really great natural things to do for your hair and hair growth and hair stimulation. And if you have questions about supplements, oral supplements, or some other things about hair growth, drop them in the chat because I could talk about that too. But anyways, I want to give him a quick shout out because he makes some great videos, some great content. So We talked about the charcoal, we talked about the fiber, right? So what else should you consider when it comes time to take your supplements? Well, if you need to take food or not with your supplement. If you're taking a general multivitamin or a prenatal vitamin, it's always a good idea to take that with food. It's a lot gentler on your stomach, and it also helps to absorb into your bloodstream better, into your body better if you take it with food. So there are some supplements that you really do want to take with food. And the majority of my supplements I take when I eat. When I break my fast, I eat and I take my supplements. So, and you also have to know like yourself too. And if you're somebody who has kind of a more sensitive tummy, then take your supplements with food. I don't really know of any other supplements besides like the charcoal and the psyllium husk fiber that would need to be taken independently, by themselves because of their specific action. So those are just some things to think of. There are other supplements that are beneficial to take together. So if you space your supplements out during the day, which is kind of what I do because I take, calcium, I take general, like a multivitamin, I'll take a vitamin D. I space mines out. That way I'm not taking like a bunch of pills at one time. So I kind of space mines out. And I actually use this might seem like so old fashioned or old people, whatever, but it works for me because it helps me to stay on task with my supplements and taking them. And it's actually what I teach all my clients. I tell them like, get a supplement, get, like a pill box, a pill holder for all the days of the week. And it has all the little times for the different days. And I take my supplements and I organize them like that. And then that way I don't miss them and I can space them out during the day. I hope my connection is not too terrible. If it's getting really bad right now, let me know because I'm getting like the little signal by my Wi-Fi. Oh, shoot. So I hope it's not too bad. But so that's how I can space out my supplements and know what I'm taking throughout the day. And it's a little bit gentler on your stomach if you're somebody who is a little bit more sensitive. Okay. Next question that I get asked a lot is, what should I be taking? What supplements should I be taking? And anytime I do a talk or I go, appear in front of people, I always get this question about what supplement should I be taking? And I'm like, oh, I have like general recommendations, right? And again, if you're watching this, I am not your doctor. I'm not your healthcare professional. I'm just doing this for educational purposes only. So there are some general recommendations that I do have when it comes to supplements. But when it comes to supplements and what so many people either overdo or underdo on taking supplements, and kind of where I like to start and where you should really think about if you're really going to invest the time into supplements, right? Because some supplements, like I said, are more expensive than others, right? They're more of an investment than others. And if you're somebody who really wants to get on a regimen and on a routine with supplements and you have specific health goals, then this is the shift that I want you to make when it comes to your health and really the way that supplementation should be done the right way. Instead of taking just this and that and being willy-nilly with what you're taking, let's be a little bit more focused, a little bit more clear about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So where you want to start is you want to get very specific. You want to get personalized. So I talk a lot about personalized medicine in what I do, personalized healthcare. You should really personalize your supplementation for yourself. And the way that we can get started with that is really looking at your blood, because your blood work will tell us where you're missing. So we can look at blood work, we can look at saliva, we can look at stool samples. And this is all different types of wellness testing that I offer through my practice. But this is where I always suggest that anybody watching starts. If you really want to get serious about your supplementation, this is where you should begin. So look at micronutrient testing. Look at food allergy sensitivity intolerance testing. Look at hormonal testing. So this blood work will be able to give us the big picture about what's going on in your body. And that way we can look to see where the gaps are in your nutrition, because every person is different. Even where you live impacts the different levels of micronutrients in your body, how much sunlight you get versus another place, right? Stress, your environment, the temperature, like your stress levels. There's so much that can change individually from person to person that we can identify through the blood work. So this is where we start. So we can find where those gaps are. And then we can decide where you're deficient at. And we want to be able to fill those gaps. So after that, we're going to look to see, well, which route is going to be better for you, right? Because we can get our supplements all kinds of different ways. There's pills, there's powders, there's lotions, there's IV hydration, which is what I love to love to do for my clients and what I know so much about doing IV hydration. So just like it sounds, IV intravenous, we start a little IV here, and you get these vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes infused into your body. They're mixed in a bag of normal saline, and we can customize that infusion again to fill in any of the gaps for you based on your blood work. It's very personalized. Again, it's just giving you exactly what you need instead of taking a little of this and a little of that or overdoing it on this and not getting enough of that. We can get very targeted with our nutritional therapy, with our supplementation for you. So we have the different routes, right? We have liquids, powders, pills. We have these different routes. But now it's time to decide, well, which way is going to be best for you? So I always like to say that food is medicine, right? So I'm always going to look at food first. So we're going to look at nutrition. What foods can we use first for you when it comes to supplementation? Then we're going to look at your health history. So this is why we do a really detailed assessment and history on you, because I want to know if you have all your pieces and parts. That's how I like to put it. Very straightforward. You got all your pieces and parts. Have you had any surgeries, abdominal surgeries? Are you missing your gallbladder? Do you have something up with your pancreas? Do you have your appendix? Have you had gastric bypass surgery? Do you have a band or a balloon? Are you taking weight loss injections, semaglutide, Wegovy, Ozempic? Like, what are you on? Because those impact your digestive system, how your body processes the food, how it passes through, how fast, what it's doing. There's so many things that can impact your digestive system. We can even look up here. Right in the esophagus area. Do you have any esophageal varices? Do you have any problems up here when it comes to your stomach? Maybe you have a candida overgrowth, or maybe you have heartburn, right? Excess acid. Have you had any abdominal trauma, right? Were you in some type of car accident way back in the day and had your guts all taken out and re-put in? Have you had a colostomy bag? Do you have a colostomy bag right now? It surprises me so much how many people reach out to me and they're giving me all this information about this, and then later on I find out that, oh, they got a colostomy bag. And it's like, that is so huge and so impactful to your overall health and nutrition. Like, that's where I want to focus on, not all this other shit. I want to focus on that. So there's so many things that impact your digestion. And again, why so many people are taking so many pills and powders and, buying all this stuff and just taking it and not realizing that, that's the reason why they're not getting the results that they want, or not seeing the results that they're seeing or that wanting to see, because they have this interruption in their digestive system, because your body's never going to be able to break down, metabolize, distribute, absorb anything as efficiently if it was all intact, in the first place. So that's the other thing we need to think about. Do you got all your pieces and parts? Is everything working how it's supposed to work? And then we can decide, well, what route is going to be best for you? Is it a combination? Are we going to do some with food? Are we going to do some with a pill supplementation? Are we going to do some liquid? Are we going to do some in a powder? So we can mix it up. And it just takes a really good healthcare provider who's got a lot of experience like me to really look at your blood work, look at you, look at your lifestyle, right? Because we also want to think about, what kind of life are you living? Do you got time to be stopping and taking all these different pills throughout the day? Probably not. It's not really a great quality of life, or, going to be really good with anybody's routine to have to be worrying and keeping track of all these supplements, right? So I always like to try to get it down to the least amount of supplements. What do you really need to take? What is required by your body at this stage in your life? And then how do we know if the supplements that you're using or taking are really even working or doing what they're supposed to do? Well, we want to assess, right? We just don't want to be taking all this shit and then not know what's happening with it, right? If it's being effective or not. So reassessing, usually 6 months is a good point to do some follow-up blood work to see if these supplements are really doing what we want them to do, if we're seeing the numbers go in the direction that we want. But we also want to look at, well, how are you feeling? How are you looking? Are we meeting any of your goals, right? What were your goals in the first place when it comes to your health? I put this as, supplement crash course for weight loss because it's the beginning of the year and a lot of people are looking for weight loss. But I know so many other people say it's weight loss when it's actually, I just want to be healthy. I just want to feel healthy. I just want to look a certain type of way. I just want to be able to do X, Y, and Z. I just want my body to be able to keep up with my lifestyle, right? I don't want it to slow me down or hold me back. There's so many people that I talk to that's exactly what they tell me. And I totally can understand that and appreciate that. And that's why I'm making this video and where I make all my content about health is because of this. So are you seeing the results that you want to see? Are you feeling how you want to feel? And then that can also gauge, your progression when it comes to the supplements and what you're taking. Okay. Oh, and also vital signs too. Depending on what your goals are, what the results of what you're trying to achieve are. You can look at your vital signs also. That's another thing that I look at because I usually work with a lot of people who have blood pressure issues, blood sugar, right? Type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome. We're looking at cholesterol, all those numbers. We're looking at all of that and we want to see improvement in all those areas. So again, having a provider, having somebody that can run really detailed lab work on you just to make sure that everything is going in the way that we want it to go. And I see somebody from YouTube, vitamin C, when is the best time? After breakfast, after lunch, whenever you want to take it. Let's see if I get his question up here. Will it come up? Yeah. When is vitamin C? When's the time? After breakfast, after lunch. Whenever you want to take it. Whenever you want to take your vitamin C. Totally fine. So you can take oral vitamin C, right? You can take pills. You can use food, right? There's some really great high dose vitamin C IV infusions that you can take. The only thing that I would caution if you're looking at vitamin C, really high doses of vitamin C can impact blood sugar. So you're going to want to be careful when it comes to blood sugar. It can elevate. So if you're going to be having some blood work drawn and you're like mega dosing with vitamin C or taking those like vitamin C packs for cold and flu season, those can actually really raise your blood sugar by taking those. Vitamin C will do that to you. So just be aware of that it might spike your insulin and blood sugar with that. Okay. But great question. Thank you. And then let me finish this off by giving you the hidden ingredient in supplements that might be causing you to stall, to plateau, to just not have any weight loss specifically. If you're looking at that, if you've got metabolic syndrome, if you've got insulin resistance, if you're dealing with those hormonal issues, the one hidden ingredient in supplements is sugar. Sugar, sugar, sugar. And I'm going to use the example of my mom. So my mom had got some supplements and her and I were talking and she had went out and got some B12. And she started taking the B12 and she was like, Alex, she was like, my blood sugar is like so high right now. She was like, it just all of a sudden started being high. She was like, I don't feel sick. I don't have a kidney stone. I don't have this. I don't have, like, she's running through her usual list of culprits, right, for blood sugar because she's type 2 diabetic. So she knows. And she got me. So we're always talking about it. So she's running through all the scenarios. And I was like, well, what have you been doing differently? What have you started taking that's different since this just started out of nowhere? And she said, well, I did start taking that B12. You talked to me about the B12. I started taking it. And I said, well, let me see your B12. So I went and looked at the B12 that she got. The first ingredient was like sugar. And I was like, this is why. It's sugar. Sugar is the ingredient in here. And that's why your blood sugar is spiking. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And yeah, that's why. So that little bit of sugar in there can, like, it's a really concentrated dose, right? So it's going to spike your blood sugar and that's going to cause inflammation, right? That's going to make it harder for you to lose weight. And so that can be a hidden culprit because if you're taking that over a prolonged amount of time, then that's going to have that impact on your body. Same thing. So I would look for sugar in all of your supplements, any supplements that you're about to take. Turn around and look at the back, look at the ingredients, and make sure that there is no sugar. Sugar comes in all kinds of different names too, honey. And they will tell you on the front that it's sugar free and that it's this and it's this. You really have to read the back. You really have to read the ingredients of the things that you're taking. No matter what it tells you on the front, read the back. So that way you know what exactly is in it, and that way you can stay away from it, especially if you're type 2 diabetic, insulin resistance, you got some metabolic syndrome, you got hormonal issues. You don't want anything to stand in your way from what you want, from what your goal is. And that one little hidden ingredient could be the reason why. So stay away from that. Okay. Like I said, I'll stay on here if anybody else has questions. I got some free time this evening for a little bit. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'm telling you, this is like a live Q&A with me. You can get any answers that you want while I'm on here for a little bit longer. And like I said, if you're watching this on the replay and you just don't feel comfortable about asking a specific question, just send me a message. That's the best way to get a hold of me, is just send me a message. I was watching your supplement crash course and I had this question about this, and I'll be sure to get back to you, have a conversation with you about that. Make sure you get your question answered. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up today. So if you like the information that I shared today about supplementation, then I really invite you to reach out to me, send me a message, because this is exactly part of the work that I do when I'm working one-on-one with people. So if you like this, we can do something very simple and basic all the way up to something very detailed, and way more in depth for you, just depending on what your health goals are. I have all kinds of different options to work with me. And I invite you to a conversation. Wherever platform you're watching me on, just feel free, send me a message and we can have that conversation. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it quits tonight. Well, Matt, thank you. I appreciate you too, hon. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I'm out of here for today. So again, if you have any questions, send them in the chat, send me a message. And like I always say, for balanced life, just add spice. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.